The world is flipping upside down. The way we buy, work, and live is evolving faster than your grandma figuring out TikTok. And guess what? The way people make money is changing too. We've officially entered what the experts are calling the arbitrage economy, where regular people in their 20s, 30s, even in their 50s are making lawyer, doctor, and engineer money without spending a decade in school or selling their soul to a corporate cubicle. In about 2 minutes, I'm gonna show you exactly how they're doing it. If you clicked on this video, it's probably because you're tired of the BS business advice out there. Just work harder, hustle 24/7, start a side hustle, selling dropship fidget spinners. Nah, forget about that. I'm about to break down a real business model that lets you start with almost no money, requires zero experience, and can put big boy paychecks in your account in weeks, not years. Before we go on any further, let me keep it 100% real with you. Just because I've done this successfully doesn't mean you will. I mean, I built the system after all. But here's what I can guarantee. Everything I'm about to show you works. And I've got proof from real people who aren't special or lucky. They just followed the system that I gave them and cashed in. Like Javier, who spent 4 years grinding an ATM business to barely hit $5,000 a month, but then used this business model and hit $15,000 in his first 30 days. Now he's on track for a multi-six-figure year. Or Nick, who went from knowing nothing about this business to stacking $20,000 a month in just 90 days. And then there's Sam, who escaped his phone sales job and is now generating $40,000 a month without having to beg people to buy life insurance. Now, if we haven't met yet, my name is Steven Belmas and I do rental arbitrage, a business model that pays me over $150,000 a month, allows me to work from literally anywhere, and doesn't require me to sell, recruit, or trade my time for money like a chump. I also run a six-figure info product business. I have over 120,000 followers across social media, and I plan on building a giant multifamily real estate portfolio because why not? No, I don't recommend running around chasing multiple business ideas or business models like you're a squirrel on Red Bull. You need to master one thing before you diversify at all. If you haven't mastered one thing, then don't even think about it. That's what I did. And now I can actually afford to play in different businesses in different industries. But today, we're talking about the best way to start making money online, even if you've never made a dime in business before. This business model works for 3 simple reasons. It's ridiculously beginner friendly, no tech skills, no sales experience, no secret handshake required. It's an industry blowing up faster than a celebrity scandal. The demand is there, but not enough people are supplying it, at least not at a high level. And it takes advantage of the new arbitrage economy, meaning if you're early, you get a massive head start over everyone else. Let me show you why most people fail when trying to start an online business and how you can dodge those landmines like Neo in the Matrix. Most people get suckered into dropshipping, Amazon FBA, affiliate marketing, or wholesaling, but they never stop to ask themselves, is this actually a good business model for beginners? Spoiler alert, it's not. Yeah, those models can make a ton of money, but trying to succeed in them as a beginner, it's like throwing a toddler into a UFC fight. You'll get wrecked. Instead, you need a business model that actually gives you a shot. One that gets you to $10, $20, even $50,000 a month without requiring a PhD in online business or burning through your life savings. And that's exactly what I'm about to break down for you, step by step, no fluff, no BS. Stick around because by the end of this, you're gonna know exactly how to cash in on this new wave before the rest of the world even knows what's happening. So let's say you actually took a second to evaluate how beginner-friendly different business models are before lighting your money on fire. What a concept, right? Well, let's do that together. There's actually 6 key things that actually matter when picking a business model. 1 is unitary gain, which is how much you make per deal. Next is startup capital, which is how much you got to cough up to get started. Next is profit margins, how much you actually keep after all the expenses, because revenue is cute, but profit is what pays the bills. Next is demand, how many people actually want what you're offering. Next is fulfillment, how much work and stress it takes to deliver your product, service, whatever it may be. Next is deal type, whether you get paid once or you get paid over and over again for the same work. Let's break down some of the most common business models today and see why they usually suck for beginners. The first one is affiliate marketing. You sell other people's stuff and get a cut. Sounds great, right? Wrong. Here's the reality. You make like $50 to $250 per sale. So to hit $10,000 a month, you'd need to close 40 to 200 sales. What? And I don't know if you ever tried convincing 200 random people to buy something, but let's just say it's not fun. Startup costs, not high, like $1,000 to $5,000 in ads. And that's if you don't burn it all testing things that don't work. Oh, And that $10,000 revenue, it's not profit. Ads usually eat up 60 to 90% of your earnings. So congrats. You made $1,000 to $4,000 if you're lucky. Next is Amazon FBA. You sell physical products, Amazon ships them for you, and that sounds easy, right? You profit per sale, $20 to $300, meaning you need 33 to 500 sales per month to make real money. The startup cost, $1,000 to $5,000 on inventory. And if your product flops, you're stuck with a mountain of useless stock. I hope you like stress because it's basically a high stakes guessing game and Amazon doesn't care if you win or lose. Next is dropshipping. Same as Amazon FBA, but no inventory. Cool, but now you're dumping cash into ads trying to find a winning product, which is like playing roulette with your bank account. The margins suck, delivery times suck, and customer service is a nightmare. Next is wholesale real estate. You flip contracts instead of houses. Sounds great, but you have to spend weeks, a lot of the times months, chasing distressed sellers before you even know it if you have a deal. If you can't find a cash buyer fast enough, congrats.
You played yourself.
You just wasted all the time locking up a contract that's quite literally worthless. You still have to cold call, text blast, and network like crazy just to land one decent deal. And most leads will ghost you or tell you to kick rocks. So do you see why most people fail? It's not because they're lazy. It's because they picked the wrong business model. So what's the ideal beginner-friendly business? So let's reverse engineer it. You want something that's high ticket. You shouldn't have to grind out 200 plus sales a month just to make a decent living. Ideally, each deal is worth at least $1,500 so you can hit $10,000 a month with just a few transactions. Low startup costs, shouldn't require thousands up front just to get in the game. Ideally, close to $0 out of pocket if there's a way to go about it. Next is high margins. You should be keeping 50 to 70% of the money that you make, not sending most of it to suppliers or ad platforms. Next is high demand. The market should be begging for your service, not the other way around. You want easy fulfillment. Delivering the service shouldn't eat up your whole life. The less effort per deal, the better. And then reoccurring income. You close a deal once and the money keeps coming in month after month after month. And when you put all that together, there's really only one type of business that checks every single one of these boxes. And it's something where clients gladly pay between $300 to $2,000 a day. And not just once, but every single day, like clockwork. Startup capital, almost zero. And if you leverage OPM, other people's money, as long as you leverage that in the right way, you can start with no money out of pocket. I'll explain how in just a bit. All you really need is an LLC, a business account, and a phone, and you're good to go. Margins, up to 70% plus. And you keep most of what you make instead of watching your profits get eaten by ads, inventory, or fulfillment headaches. And the best part, it stacks. Every deal you close adds to your monthly income, meaning your revenue doesn't reset to zero every month like affiliate marketing, dropshipping, or Amazon FBA, or wholesaling. So if you want a business that's realistic, scalable, and doesn't require you to be a marketing wizard or a risk-taking lunatic, then you're in the right place. Stick with me and I'll show you exactly how to get started step by step. But before I break down how regular people without any business or real estate experience are making $10, $20, and even I have a student that's doing over $59,000 a month in the new arbitrage economy. So let's take a step back and look at what's happening right now. The rental market has changed dramatically in the last few years, and most landlords haven't caught up. You've got millions of properties sitting there collecting basic bare minimum rent checks, and when those same places could be generating 2 to 4 times the rent every single month. Think about it. How many landlords are out there barely scraping by, dealing with tenants who don't pay on time, toilets breaking at 2 a.m., and property managers taking a fat cut of their already underwhelming rental income? Meanwhile, those same properties could be pulling in $5,000, $8,000, and even $10,000 a month with the right systems in place. By the way, if you don't know, many landlords report net profits of just $100 to $200 per month. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. And that's after expenses. And they have to deal with all the BS of owning a property, all for a couple $100. Meet Todd. In his first year of using this model, he generated $300,000 and did it without having to own any or buy any real estate. Now has scaled to about $60,000 a month. Then there's Nick, who had zero real estate experience, started from scratch, and hit $20,000 a month in under 90 days by renting properties he doesn't even own. While most landlords are still collecting their little $2,000 rent check, thinking they're winning. Or Sam, who was stuck in a soul-sucking corporate sales job working 60 plus hours a week, only to switch this model and start pulling in $40,000 a month and he hasn't looked back since. If you're sitting here thinking, okay, but how the hell does this work? Let me explain. You see, the most profitable businesses today don't actually own the product they sell. Uber doesn't own any cars, Airbnb doesn't own any houses, Expedia doesn't own any airlines. They connect people who have supply with people who need demand. This is exactly what we do. We don't need to own properties to make money from them. We just bridge the gap between landlords that are sitting on underperforming assets and people like traveling nurses, business professionals, and corporate clients who are willing to pay premium rates for properties that are already furnished. And here's where it gets wild. Landlords actually need you. They're either sitting on empty properties, struggling to find long-term tenants, locked into traditional rentals who aren't taking care of their property and end up costing them thousands when that tenant leaves, dealing with tenants who cause more stress than their property is worth. Meanwhile, demand for short-term stays has exploded. Nurses, business travelers, relocation clients, film crews, and even companies dropping $10,000 to $15,000 per month for a house, an average house at that, 3 to 4 bedroom average houses. That's where you come in. Instead of buying properties, you control them and turn them into high profit cash flow machines without the headaches of long-term tenants, broken AC units, or waiting 30 years for a mortgage to be paid off. By renting a property from a landlord, then with their permission, furnishing it and subleasing it to travelers, charging a nightly rate and making 2 to 4 times the rent at about 60 to 70% profit. And the best part, this is all beginner friendly. You don't need a real estate license. You don't need tons of money to buy a property. You don't need years of experience. You just need to learn the system and take action. Take Stu, for example. He went from being a traveling welder that wanted to pursue real estate, but he didn't want to have to put 20% down on a property every time he wanted to get a new property. He went from that to securing his first property within 30 days of working with me. Or Elizabeth, who made more from one booking with this model than she did in 2 months at her 9-to-5 job, and she's never looking back. This is why it's the best business model for beginners, because 1, you have no inventory. You don't own the properties, so you don't have to stress about having to own properties. Secondly, no massive upfront investment. You leverage OPM, other people's money to get started, which I like to use 0% interest business credit. Next, there's no selling hundreds of products just to make a few bucks. Each unit you set up is a consistent income stream. Next, there's no fulfillment headaches. You can automate 95% of this business. Let me show you exactly how to start your own high cash flow rental business with my 4-step plug-and-play system. I call it the 4-step to 10K a month in the next 90 days, and it works like this. 1 is setup. Get your business structured the right way so you can lock in deals and scale fast. Identify the best, most profitable properties landlords are sitting on without realizing their potential. 3rd, arbitrate. Lock in high margin deals with landlords and position yourself as a solution to their empty or underperforming rentals. 4 is reach out. Automate and systematize so the cash flow stacks month over month. When you do this correctly, you're adding 1 to 2 new properties every 3 months. And if each one makes you $3,000 to $5,000 a month in profit, that's $3,000 to $10,000 in new monthly recurring revenue stacking every 3 months. Now in a year, that's $144,000 to $240,000 in pure profit. In a regular job, that kind of money would take you decades of soul-sucking work, a degree, and a boss breathing down your neck. In this business, it's just the starting point. So if you're serious about building a high-income business, this is the best opportunity that you're literally ever going to see. So stick with me. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Now, the first step is to set up your business. So that's when we start reaching out to landlords. They see you as a real business, not some random person trying to sublease their property. So the first thing you'll need to do is set up your LLC. This isn't just for looking professional. It's what protects you personally and allows you to access business credit so you can fund this business without using your own cash. It will typically cost you between $150 to $300 depending on your state. Next, you want to open up a business bank account. This is a must. Not only do you need a bank account to manage finances properly, but most banks won't approve you for business credit without one. And I recommend Chase because they offer 0% interest business credit cards for 12 months of 0% interest, which are at a complete hack for scaling fast. To get approved for 0% interest credit cards, you typically want to have a 700 plus personal credit score, at least 2 personal credit cards with a combined $10,000 limit, and 4+ years of credit history for the best approvals. And just like that, step one is done. You now have a legitimate business and access to funding that won't drain your savings. Now, the second step is to find the right market. A lot of people get this wrong and go straight for big cities like LA, Vegas, or New York. The problem? Those places have crazy high rent and strict short-term rental regulations. Instead, you want to target areas around major cities, places that still have strong demand but fewer restrictions and lower costs. For example, instead of looking in New York City, look at Rochester, New York, a city full of museums, historical sites, and only an hour away from New York City. It still attracts a ton of travelers, but you won't be paying $5,000 a month in rent just to break even. Now, step two is done. You've narrowed down a market that's profitable and actually legal for short-term rentals. Now, the third step is market analysis, because picking the right market is one thing, but actually making money in it is another. So what you want to do is go on Airbnb and look up properties in your chosen market. Find the top 3 to 5 best performing properties and analyze how much they're making. The golden rule is this: if the best listing in your market are charging high enough to make your rent back in 10 days or less, you're golden. For example, if the top listing charges $300 a night, all you need to do is find a property with the rent under $3,000 a month so you can make your rent back in 10 days and you'll be extremely profitable. If you don't mind dropping a like and subscribe, because like every other person on YouTube, I need validation from strangers on the internet. But seriously, if you're really getting value from this, I'd appreciate it. Step number 3 is done. You now know exactly what kind of property you need. You have the funding to do it. Now, the fourth step is finding the right property. This is where you start browsing sites like Zillow, Realtor.com, HotPads, and even Facebook Marketplace, which has tons of off-market deals on there. Look for properties with unique features that make them stand out. Stuff like high ceilings, updated kitchens, pools, lake views, or other standout amenities. I like hot tubs. Pro tip, on Zillow, check how long a property has been listed. And if it's been sitting there for a month with no tenants, the landlord is eating that cost, which means you have more negotiating power because they're having to pay that because no one's in there. Also, use AirDNA's Pro subscription to check your yearly revenue, seasonality trends, and occupancy rates for properties in your area. And just like that, step 4 is done. You found a property that has high profit potential in the right area, and you have funding to set it up. Now, the 5th step is pitching landlords. This is where most people fail, not because it's hard, but because they don't know how to talk to landlords the right way. Most landlords don't trust people that want to do Airbnb, and that's fair. They don't want party guests ruining their property. Your job is to show them why this is a win-win deal for them. See the clip of me pitching a landlord right here. It's not that hard once you know what you're doing. But keep in mind, this is a numbers game. The more landlords you talk to, the better you'll get, the more confident that you'll sound when talking to them. And the key is to offer landlords something better than a traditional tenant. So 1, they get guaranteed rent, and landlords love stability. They get less wear and tear on their properties because you have a professional cleaning team coming 2 to 4 times a week. It's essentially free property management because you handle everything, and you have over $1 million in insurance coverage, ensuring them that even if something does go wrong, they're covered. And always keep this in your back pocket. If a landlord says no, offer them $100 to $300 more a month in rent, only if the numbers still work. Step 5 is done. You've got a landlord who's on board and you're ready to move forward. Now, the 6th step is getting started and getting your property set up. You'll need about $15,000 to launch your first Airbnb. Keep in mind, we are leveraging 0% interest business credit to make this happen, not your own cash. So here's the breakdown. Also, as a side note, I don't like apartments. I like single family homes. They're much more profitable. So here's the breakdown. 1 is your business structure and setup, which is about $300. First month's rent and security deposit should be about $4,000. Utilities and internet, about $200. Furniture and decor, another $10,000. And cleaning, handyman, and photography should be about $500. And keep in mind, this is if you're choosing budget-friendly options and doing the interior design yourself and not using low-quality furniture that's not going to break in the first year. Step 6 is done. Your property is ready to launch. Now, the 7th step is standing out from the competition. You're not just throwing a bed and a couch in a house and calling it a day. You're creating an experience for your guests. You want to give your place a unique theme, whether that's bachelorette style, modern, boho, chic, etc., etc. You want to offer standout amenities like pool table, hot tub, arcade games, stuff that stands out. Next, you want to get affordable but stylish furniture like Wayfair, Amazon, Target. Step 7 is done. Your listing is ready to attract high-paying guests. Now, the 8th step is hiring your team. The most important hire is your cleaner. A great cleaner equals 5-star reviews, 5-star reviews equals more bookings equals more money in your pocket. You can find these cleaners on Turno.com. Other key hires are handymen. You can find these on Thumbtack or Angie's List. Photographers, you can also find those on Thumbtack. I prefer real estate photographers because they're gonna make your property look better. And just like that, step 8 is done. You have a team to keep your property running smoothly. Now, the 9th step is launching and optimizing before launching. Study your competition and optimize your listing. Highlight all amenities and unique features that you have. Use ChatGPT to refine your description. Just copy a listing that's crushing it on Airbnb and ask it to build yours similar to theirs. Pick your best photo as a hero image. This is the first thing that guests see. Use dynamic pricing software like Price Labs. This maximizes your earnings. And at launch, set your prices slightly lower to get reviews quickly. Then you raise your rates once you have momentum. And there you have it. This is what I call rental arbitrage. You control properties, you don't own them, and you make 2 to 4 times what a traditional landlord makes without having to actually be a landlord. And the best part is that you can do it all leveraging 0% interest business credit that doesn't affect your personal credit whatsoever. And you don't have to spend all of your savings. And the best part, you can repeat this process over and over again. Now, the craziest part of all of this is that landlords are sitting on properties that could be making $5,000 to $10,000 a month, but instead, they're stuck renting to tenants who barely cover their expenses. Leave the place a mess and make them a couple $100 in profit a month, if they're lucky. Now, just to give you some perspective, a landlord renting out a $3,000 a month property is probably taking less than $300 a month after expenses. Mortgage, taxes, repairs, vacancies, and that's assuming the tenant actually pays on time and doesn't ghost them mid-lease. You can come up with different deals, but the way my students usually structure their rental arbitrage deals is they lock in a property for $2,500 to $3,500 a month and then turn around and rent it for $200 to $500 per night on a platform like Airbnb and VRBO. That means instead of barely scraping by, they're pulling in $8,000, $10,000, even $15,000 a month per property without ever owning a single one. For example, when Nick started his first property, it was a 4-bedroom in Arkansas for $2,800 a month. He furnished it, got it listed, and within his first 30 days, he pulled in over $7,000. A property that would have made a traditional landlord pennies in profit and was now doing over $7,000 a month consistently. Now, you can work this out depending on your market, but I always suggest never going below 50% profit margins because the whole point of this business is to make more than traditional real estate investors without all the risk. And the best part, landlords actually love working with us once they understand the model. Why? Because instead of dealing with bad tenants, late payments, and trashed units, they get guaranteed income, on-time rent every single month, deep cleaning 2 to 4 times a week, no long-term tenants wrecking the place. I don't know about you, but my house doesn't get deep cleaned by 4 people 2 to 4 times a week. They get a property that's maintained like a high-end hotel, no evictions, no drama, no headaches. That's why. Once a landlord leases you on one property, they usually offer you more. Like Jacob, who locked in his first unit in Florida, and within 4 months, the landlord handed him the keys to 2 more houses. How do you actually find landlords who agree to this? It's simple. You find them online. You can look in a lot of different places, like Zillow, Facebook Marketplace, hell, even Craigslist, which I don't particularly like, but you can find them on there. But my favorite strategy is reaching out to landlords with vacant properties. Think about it. If a property has been sitting on Zillow for 60 plus days with no tenants, that landlord is losing money every single day. And when you come in and offer guaranteed rent with no headaches, they're going to listen to you. I'll let you in on a little secret. The best landlords to target are those who own multiple properties. Why? Because they're running their rentals like a business, not like it was their first home. And if you show them how they can make more money with less hassle, they'll want to work with you on more than just one property. That's how River went from struggling to get his first deal to locking in 3 properties in just 90 days, all from one landlord who owned a small portfolio in Colorado. That's how you take advantage of rental arbitrage to secure high profit properties without having to buy any real estate and leveraging 0% interest business credit to not have you use a ton of cash either. It's literally a plug and play business model that scales fast and doesn't require hundreds of thousands in capital. Do you see now why literally anyone can do this? And I do mean anyone. Even people starting from scratch with no experience, no real estate background, and not a ton of cash up front. Like Sam, who was stuck in a high-stress phone sales job working 12-hour shifts, came to me with almost no credit and just a few $1,000s, And since he couldn't get business funding to set up his properties on his own, I still showed him how to manage other people's Airbnbs and take 30% of their property's income. So there's not just one way to go about this. It's just nuts how quickly this can change your life. With that done, we finally get to the last piece of the puzzle, automating the business so you're not glued to your phone 24/7. Because let's be real, you're not getting into this to replace your 9-to-5 with another full-time job. Once you've secured your properties and listed them, your main focus should be getting the right systems in place so that everything kind of runs on autopilot and is self-sufficient so you can continue scaling. So here's where 80% of your time should be spent. One, should be hiring cleaners. This is the most important person in your whole business. Second is setting up automated messaging and check-ins so guests don't have to text you and call you for everything. Next is using dynamic pricing software like Price Labs to adjust your rates daily. And I created numerous videos breaking down step-by-step of how to start, set up, and automate this business as well. Once you get these automations all in place, scaling becomes extremely easy. That's how people like Mike went from 1 property to 10 in under a year without spending his own money and without having to own any properties, like I said. I know this all sounds pretty exciting, or you're watching this and you're like, this is stupid, but let me give you a quick reality check. If you try to do this alone, you're probably going to spend months trying to figure out all the moving pieces, and to be honest, we'll probably never actually start. And here's why. You might pick the wrong market and get stuck with a property that ends up costing you money every single day. Or you could make rookie mistakes when negotiating with landlords and get rejected over and over again, resulting in never securing a property. Or you might underprice your listing, struggle to get bookings, or miss out on easy optimizations that could be making you thousands of dollars more every single month. And if you mess up these steps, you'll lose thousands of dollars before even getting started. And most people don't do that great in this business because they don't have a proven plan that works. But if you get this right, the rewards are life-changing, because the truth is there's never been a better time to take advantage of rental arbitrage. You don't have to be a traditional landlord that are barely scraping by with long-term rentals. Airbnb is exploding, but there aren't enough high-quality listings to meet demand. Business travelers, traveling nurses, and families are actively looking for short-term houses every single day. If you've ever wanted to be early to something big, this is it. And now you have 2 choices. Option 1, try to figure out all of it yourself. You could take everything I've given you today and try to figure it all out on your own. And it's definitely possible. I've had people do it, but just know that you'll probably waste months or even years making mistakes that could have been avoided. And in the meantime, you're missing out on thousands of dollars every single month. Money that could have been in your bank. And if you had just the right way to get started, not to mention going at it alone means no guidance, no accountability, and no support when you hit roadblocks, or no access to resources or connections that I have. And trust me, there will be roadblocks. Or option number 2, you get expert help and shortcut your success. That's why I created Rental Arbitrage Mastery, a step-by-step system designed to take you from $0 to $10,000 a month with rental arbitrage in record time, about 60 days. And every single success story you've seen from my students has gone through this exact system. I take complete beginners with no real estate experience whatsoever and show them exactly how to, 1, find the most profitable markets and properties, how to pitch landlords and get them to say yes without sounding like a scammer. Next is leverage 0% interest business credit to start without using your own cash, and we can actually do that part in-house. Next is automate your business so it runs on autopilot, and scale from 1 to 5 to 10 plus properties without taking on any debt. When you follow a proven blueprint, it's not just faster, it's also way cheaper in the long run because it saves you a ton of money and time. A single piece of well-placed advice can save you thousands of dollars and months of frustration. And trust me, building a business is 100 times easier when you have expert guidance and a community of like-minded entrepreneurs instead of struggling all alone. What's inside Rental Arbitrage Mastery? So Rental Arbitrage Mastery isn't just a course. I wouldn't say it's a course at all. It's more of a mentorship. It's a complete business in a box. You get 1, full access to the Rental Arbitrage Mastery program, which is covering every single step from setting up your business to scaling past $20,000 a month. You get done for your contracts and landlord pitch scripts so you know exactly what to say and how to close deals, the exact revenue and profit calculator I use to analyze any market and know within minutes if a property will make money. Step-by-step tutorials on how to leverage 0% interest business credit so you can launch without using your own money. A private, exclusive mastermind community that you can network with successful rental arbitrage operators and get real-time support. You get weekly live Q&A calls with me, so you always have direct access to experts whenever you need them. Lifetime access to all updates and new strategies because the market changes, and I make sure my students are always ahead of the competition. And let me be clear, I'm not one of those gurus selling you a $500 course and leaving you to figure it out yourself. I don't like that, at all. The less you invest, the less you commit. And I only want to work with people who are serious about actually building a real business and changing their financial future, not kind of wanting to. So if you're looking for some cheap, watered down YouTube tutorial, this isn't for you. But if you want a step-by-step system, direct live mentorship, and a proven process that create hundreds of success stories, then rental arbitrage mastery is exactly what you need. The only question is, are you going to take action? Or are you going to let another month or year pass by, watching other people do exactly what you could be doing? If you appreciate this content, guys, I would really appreciate a like, comment, subscribe. I've been cranking out these videos like crazy. And I also have a free course down in the description, and I got tons of free videos on YouTube explaining how to start, build, and scale this business. So with that being said, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.